Hello viewers, this is Fear the Ghost, and as you can see, I'm currently staring at a screen where I have won by using Exodia. Now, you may be wondering, well, what deck are you using? Well, the deck that I'm using happens to be... Hold on, let me go show you. A Fortune Exodia. If you guys watch Asian Eyes White Dragon, you will remember a Fortune Lady. You may remember a Fortune Lady Dragon Ruler deck. Now this is similar to that, except I use more draw power than that one did, as well as I don't even bother running the dragons. I just run straight draw power, 2 ice hands, 2 fire hands, 3 Spirit of the Flames, 3 Aqua Spirits, and the pieces of Exodia, along with 3 Fortune Lady Water and 2 Fortune Lady Fire. Now, as you can see, I actually have a real extra deck. The reason why is because I do not want my opponent to know I have Exodia in the deck. He'll just see me drawing and think I'm just trying to get to the cards I need, which I technically am, but the cards I'm looking for are Exodia pieces. Now, the reason why I have 3 Lavalval Chains in the deck is because I do run 2 Dark Factory of Mass Production, so I can dump pieces to the graveyard and add them to my hand, as well as with all the draw power I run, I can actually use its effect, top deck a piece, and flip my draw power or activate my draw power and be able to draw the piece I just top decked. So, running 3 Lavalval Chains can be good. I literally just... That one was won because I had 3 Lavalval Chains, I drew Soul Charge, I activated Soul Charge, and just went ham. In that one turn, I made all 3 Lavalval Chains, dumped 2 pieces to the graveyard. I already had 2 in hand, activated Dark Factory, added the 2 I dumped to the grave, top decked the head in, flipped the Reckless Greed I had sitting face down all game. I also run the supply units to make my opponent less likely to destroy the monsters I'm trying to bring out. For the most part, it works. They don't really want to attack the monsters or whatever I have on the field because they don't know what my supply unit's going to draw me into. They know I'm running it. They don't really want to see what my deck has to offer. I do run the 3 Reckless Greed. I do not run Upstart Goblin. The reason for not running Upstart Goblin is because there's better draw power I can put in the deck. Because Fortune Ladies have their own draw power. The reason for the 1 Soul Charge is because if you Soul Charge 1 Fortune Lady Fire and 3 Fortune Lady Waters, for example, you will get to draw 6 cards, which is an entire full hand. Which is not bad. It will cost me a decent amount of life points. At 4,000 life points is the cost, but you can also do little ones. Maybe you just need to get one of those hands back on board. You can activate it. It's generally for a desperate situation. It works really well with the draw power of the deck, since Fortune Lady Water gets her effect when she special summons onto the field while you control a Fortune Lady. Now, Fortune Lady Fire will not get her effect unless she's special summoned by a Fortune Lady card, which there aren't any in here that can do that, so for Fortune Lady Fire, you're never going to see your effect. You're just there to activate Fortune's Future, which Fortune's Future lets me return one of my remove from play Fortune Lady cards, or Fortune Lady monsters, to my graveyard. It allows me to draw 2 cards. If you wonder how they get banished, the answer is Aqua Spirit and Spirit of Flames. You probably remember Aqua Spirit from watching Mermails play. I generally see a fair amount of Mermails playing 1 or 2 Aqua Spirits, sometimes 3, depending on what style of play they're going for. It's special summoned by removing a monster, and most people don't remember the second part of her ability. During each of your opponent's standby phases, you can change the battle position one of your opponent's face-up monster cards. Once changed, the monster must remain in this position for the rest of the turn. So it's a pretty nice effect. You get to change one of your opponent's monsters. Usually she's just used for XYZs, which she's also used for in this deck. Now after her, we have Spirit of Flames. His effect isn't nearly as good, but he does let you banish your Fortune Lady Fire for Fortune's Future. He also gains 300 attack during your battle phase, so he's not bad on your turn. He can act as a 2,000 point beater. He's also easily special summonable because you run 2 Fire Hand as well. You also run 2 Ice Hand and other copies of him, so you can banish copies of him, copies of Fortune Lady Fire, or copies of Fire Hand from your graveyard to special summon him, which is not bad. Also as well, I run 1 Day of Peace for obvious reasons. I don't really want to take damage, lets me draw a card. Pot of Dichotomy, what Pot of Dichotomy does is it lets you shuffle 3 monsters with different types into your deck. Now those monsters with different types include Spellcaster, Pyro, and Aqua just in my main deck, but there's also all these cards in the extra deck, such as Fiend, Fairy, there's Aqua again, another Fiend, Sea Serpent, Rock, Fiend, Pyro, Rock, Rock. So there's a lot of rocks in the extra deck. But by making any one of these and it getting sent to the graveyard later, you can easily use Pot of Dichotomy to shuffle everything back, and that's actually what allowed me to draw into stuff to make all 3 Lavolval chains. So it really didn't matter if I got to do my battle phase or not, because hey, we're trying to draw into Exodia. Now I run 3 Wonder Wand because I do run 5 Spellcasters that are Fortune Ladies. I also run the pieces, and as I said, I am using 2 Dark Factory Mass Production, so I can normal summon the pieces and equip them with Wonder Wand and put them to the graveyard to draw 2 and still have Dark Factory of Mass Production as a viable option. I do run 3 Supply Unit, as I said before, and 3 Reckless Greed. Now, the reason for Reckless Greed over Upstart is it's a trap, and it causes your opponent to want to waste their MSTs on something other than your Wonder Wands or your Supply Units, although a lot of people will still hit the Supply Unit just because they don't want to see you get all that advantage. But even so, I do run the 1 Solemn Warning as a defensive card. I have used it once, I believe, because I mean there's only 1 copy. I don't actually draw it very often, even though my deck has a lot of draw power. I don't ever draw it when I need it. Kind of reminds you of a lot of limited cards, huh? And then you have the people that draw it every game. But anyway, I do run Foolish Burial. I run Foolish Burial, say, if I have a Fortune's Future in my hand, and a Fortune Lady Water in the graveyard, a Spirit of Flames in hand, but I have no Aqua Spirit in hand, and I don't have any way to special summon this, because there's no Fire Hands or Fortune Lady Fires in graveyard. Well, I just activate Foolish Burial, dump one of them, dump one of the Fortune Lady Fires, banish it, summon Spirit of Flames, put it back in the graveyard with Fortune's Future. So I get to draw 2 cards. It's actually not bad. I do lose the Foolish Burial and the Fortune's Future, but I do gain the same amount of cards. And also, Spirit of Flames is easily usable for XYZs. Now, Foolish Burial can also be used to dump pieces I need to the graveyard. Say I have Dark Factory Mass Production in my hand and Foolish Burial, and I have 4 pieces. And one of the missing ones is the vanilla piece. Well, I can activate Foolish Burial, dump it to the graveyard, and add it back with this. Actually, no, I can't, because you need 2 in the graveyard to activate Dark Factory Mass Production. So I'd have to find some way to put one of my pieces to the graveyard. Now, the reason I don't run stuff like Dark World Dealings or Hand Destruction or things like that is because if I go up against Dark Worlds, I'm going to have a very bad time. And there's not really any need to, because you have a lot of draw power in the deck already. And I also want some room so I can actually make XYZs and everything. And this deck does not have to win by drawing Exodia. Exodia is, I'll say it's the main win condition of the deck, but it's not the only win condition of the deck. So I did name it Fortune Exodia, it does use Fortune Ladies as a draw engine. The Fire Hands are in there just to... It's mainly for rank 4 XYZs and helping defend myself, because a lot of people don't really want to attack at the Fire and Ice Hands. Especially if you have supply unit on the field, so you're getting to draw each time they destroy one and they lose a card. So it really doesn't seem very appealing to them. So having a Fire Hand and Ice Hand face down, and it getting attacked and you getting a draw for supply unit, getting to destroy one of their cards and special summoning a monster in this place, is generally something your opponent does not like to see, and I've had a lot of people leave when they saw that. I guess they think I'm playing Hat, which is not the case. This is not Hat. I do not run Trap Tricks. I do not run Artifacts. I only run 2 of each hand. Now, I am able to recycle the hands. I do have Pot of Dichotomy. I can put the hands back in the deck. I run 2 Pot of Dichotomy rather than 3, because you can dead draw them. There's not always a way to get your monsters to the graveyard. Yes, you do have Lavalval Chain and all that, but your opponent doesn't necessarily want to attack you. He also doesn't necessarily want you to XYZ. Plus, you have to do it at the start of your main phase, so it's not necessarily a good idea to make an XYZ just wanting to have it get Solemn Warnings or something and go to the graveyard. Especially since you don't get to draw for supply unit if they do that, and if they use Bottomless, you're going to be out a monster you can put back with Dichotomy anyway. And you also would usually have wasted your normal summon if that's the case, because if you don't have the monsters for Dichotomy, you usually won't have them for Flames or Spirit. But anyway, you do have to keep in mind that to use Dichotomy, you would need a Fortune Lady Water or Fire or one of the Exodia pieces, an Ice Hand or Aqua Spirit, a Spirit of Flames or Fire Hand, or any combination of them along with your extra deck cards. So it is possible to get the card off with what's in your main deck, but the best way to get it off is to summon something like one of your Digesto Emeralds or something from your extra deck. I do run 2 Digesto Emeralds just because it does give you extra draws, and if you somehow wound up with one piece stuck, say you're going up against a zombie deck and you're worried they're going to use Book of Life, you can make Digesto Emerald, shuffle it back into your deck to be able to be drawn later, and who knows, you may get lucky and draw it right off the bat. But this is Fortune Exodia, this is Fear the Ghost, and while I'm not particularly good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Dueling, I fancy that I'm fairly good at making decks for it. But I was playing this originally because I saw A's and I's had it on his channel. I thought it would be interesting to run Fortune Lady Exodia, because I like Fortune Ladies a lot. Or, not Fortune Lady Exodia. Fortune Lady Dragons, but the deck wasn't very good, so I just kind of went, well, I don't really want to play this. So I did this. I thought, well, what can I use this draw power for? The deck has so much draw power, what should I put it towards? So I decided to make Exodia. Exodia. What are you doing, Exodia? Okay, well, I'm going to... Here we go. Wait, not quite. There we go. Actually. I will get this done before this video ends. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I got it done. So yeah. Exodia. Now, I will say that the deck isn't terribly good. It does have its kinks. You're not always going to win, but it does work fairly well. It can be hard to make XYZs, but just keep trying at it. You can make some innovations, and this is Fear the Ghost, signing out.